Hello, everyone. Welcome to this GRIDtalk webinar. I'm joined by my colleague, Mark. And in this webinar, we're going to take you through a couple of AI beta features we've got in MethodGrid at the moment, one of which is around AI document drafting and another around AI quality assurance of documents. Before we get into it, though, a bit of how the webinar works, housekeeping. So you've got a chat on one side. Feel free to post your chats in there. My colleague Tom's putting in some links for you in there. And there's questions, you can ask questions in. Feel free to ask questions as we go along, particularly after each demo. And we'll jump on those questions as they come in. And then there'll be a dedicated Q&A at the end. So, introductions. My name is Jody. I'm the head of product and technology at MethodGrid, and I'm joined by my colleague Mark.
Yes, hello everyone. I'm Mark. I'm senior developer here at MethodGrid. I also lead all of our AI R&D, including the features we will be talking about today.
Thanks, Mark. So during the next hour, what we're going to do is we're going to split the features into two. They are related in some ways. So the first one we're going to demo is AI document drafting. So that's taking a Word template that contains prompts in each section to help the AI guide you or colleagues through creating a project template document. I'll then take you through some of the future development ideas we've got for AI document drafting. As I said, ask questions as we go along. After that, we'll then demo the AI QA, which enables you to upload a completed document for the AI to assure it and give you a feedback score. Again, we'll look at some future development ideas on that, and we'll finish with a Q&A. So I will hand over to Mark for the first demo. So hopefully you should see Mark's MethodGrid screen now.
Thank you very much. Yes, hello everyone. So firstly, I'm going to show you the document drafting side of this feature. I'll start off with, I'm just in a grid here. I'm in a project playbook within MethodGrid. So this playbook's got all of our information about this specific project. And within this project, there's a lot of deliverables that need to be uploaded, tasks that need evidence for them. And in a lot of cases, those have templates associated with them that need to be filled in. And within a project, there can be, a lot of these, and they're obviously very time consuming. So what we're going to do now, we are going to, with the help of AI, fill in one of these templates for this project. I'm going to open up our AI assistant and open up a new document draft. And then I'm going to give it the template that we're going to fill in. In this case, it's a project execution plan. So I've uploaded that. This is going to take 30 seconds or so. While it is doing that, I will show you the template I've just uploaded. As I say, it's project execution plan. You can see it's got placeholders for information that needs to go in there. So obviously on the title page, it's got things like the project code and the project name. It's got all these various things that need to be filled in. It's got a section for an executive summary. It's got things like the project purpose. We need project objectives, success criteria, tables that need to be filled in. All the things you would expect to be in this sort of template. So what the AI is doing has maybe done. Let's check. Yeah, so it's finished. So what the AI has done, it's gone through that template and it's done two things. Firstly, it's looked for what information does this template need? What sections need to be filled in? What information does it need to fill out this template? And you can see here it's done a pretty good job. It's found the project code, project name from the first page, executive summary, project purpose, project objectives, all of these things we just saw in the template. It's identified what we need to fill in. And then the second thing it's done, it's gone into our project playbook and it's tried to find all of that information to give us starting points for filling out this document. So you can see it's found the project code, it's found the project name, and then I can go through these and it's done a good job of that. So I'm just going to tick those off. They're all good. These ones, so the document version, obviously this is something that's specific to the document. It's not about the project. So that information isn't going to be in the playbook. So it hasn't filled that in for us. So I can just start filling these in manually. And then, so this is where the AI has given us a starting point. So it's drafted us an executive summary here. Now, all of this is completely editable. I can go in and change any of this however I want. But the other thing I can do, I can go over to the AI chat and I can ask the AI to edit it for me. So let's say with the project purpose, let's say I want to do something simple like, could you cut down the project purpose to 2 paragraphs? And then it should now update this section. There you go, with the instructions I've given it. So it's cut that down to 2 sections. And again, I can edit this myself manually. I can keep going back and forth with the AI, keep refining it until I'm happy with it. Now we can see here in the project objectives, the success criteria, it's formatted these ones a bit differently. It hasn't just written us some text. Now the reason it has done this, if we go back to the template, where the template has a placeholder for the executive summary, it's got instructions on what needs to go in here, obviously just a high-level executive summary of this project, and then it's got these format instructions that we've put in. So for the executive summary, this is 2 to 3 paragraphs of plain text. So if we go back to, you can see it drafted as 2 paragraphs of text, which is exactly what we wanted. Similarly, for the project purpose, the format instructions tell it what we want. For project objectives, these are different format instructions. This says we want a bullet point list using bold for the objective names. And if we go back, we can see that's exactly what it's done. Success criteria, it's given us this table. And if we look at the instructions that were in the success criteria section, it's got all of the guidance for what needs to be in here. And then it's got the format instructions that needs to be a table with 2 columns, criterion and measure of success, which is exactly what the AI has done. So you can see when it's gone into our project playbook to find this information, it hasn't just copied and pasted it from the playbook into this document. It's formatted it in the way that the document is expected. So let's say we're going through this. I'm happy with all these. I've filled some of them in manually. I've asked the AI to do some things. Let's give a slightly more interesting updating example. So let's say for this success criteria table, I can manually add in another column here. So let's say expected timeline. And I can start filling this in manually. So this one is year 3. And I could go through this and do it manually myself, or I can go over to the AI chat again and I can tell it I've added an expected timeline column to the success criteria table. Could you populate it? And again, the AI is going to go back into the project, into our grid. It's going to find this information, or it's going to give us reasonable answers based on our project. And you see it's drafting this in the chat. Sometimes when you ask it to do quite big tasks, it will kind of ask you to sign off on them before it updates it. So it's written in the chat asking me to kind of sign off on it. So I'll say, looks good. Could you update that in the document? And then it should now fill in those values in this column here.
Something we get asked quite a lot in these demos, Mark, is what information does it have access to in the playbook?
Yes. So for this, I mean, first thing to say, which I think we've kind of said this is a initial kind of beta release of this feature. So for this initial release, it has access to all of the content in all of the elements and stage gates in the playbook. It has access to all of the tasks and things like that. It has access to the Gantt data, so things like end dates, for tasks and elements. It does not currently have access to things like uploaded files or linked files in external systems. I think we're going to get onto this in a minute. Mm-hmm. So we'll talk more about that in a minute. But yeah, for this initial release, this is going to change in the future. But for this initial release, it has access to all of the information that's in the grid directly. So that's what it's basing all of these things on when I'm asking it to fill out these things for me. when it came back with that initial information, it's basing that on the information that is directly in the grid.
I've got a quick question from Louise, who might have said may have missed this, but the playbook, is it pre-populated manually or created by AI?
Well, a combination of the two. So we have features within the app for having AI assist you to fill out content based on source grounding. So you can give the AI documents, and you can choose a element template, and it can fill out those elements. It can fill out your tasks based on any documents you've given it. So if you give it a document of your methodology, it can find the information in there and fill that out for you. It's, as with anything AI, there always needs to be a human in the loop for that to sign off things, to verify what the AI has said. So it's a manual process with AI tools to help people build out playbooks.
Thanks, Mark. Just to follow up on that, so Louise is also asking if we can limit the information the AI has access to. Not at the moment. It would have access to the entire grid in which it's working, but it's something we are looking into as to whether we enable AI in certain grids and give you the ability to turn it off in others, especially if you've got a project which has restrictions on AI use. So that is something that we're looking into in future releases. But the grid itself doesn't have to be created by AI. It could be created manually as well.
Yeah, and again with the kind of future additions to this, when we're giving the AI access to other files to kind of source ground it, as with all of our features currently in the platform, you will be able to toggle things on and off as you're using the AI. So you could say, when you're generating this document, I only want you to use these sources. When you're generating other documents, you can choose other sources. And that will definitely be part of that when we expand the things that the AI has access to.
Thanks, Mark. I think you're about to generate the document, but Andre has just asked when this will be available at Network Rail. And I think the initial demo for Network Rail yesterday. So soon, watch this space. Maybe check internally as to when they're going to roll it out.
Yeah, no, definitely. Okay, so we've got 2 points where we've kind of ticked all these off. I think this goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'm not really reading and reviewing what the AI is typing here. I'm kind of just accepting it and asking it to update things. Obviously, in reality, we would have a healthy degree of skepticism about anything the AI is writing, and we would manually review it and sign it off and all those sorts of things. But for demo purposes, I'm kind of just accepting what the AI is saying. So let's say we've done this, we've gone through all of these sections, we've gone back and forth with the AI, we've manually written some things, we're happy with it all. I can then ask the AI to generate the final document for me. And what it's going to do now, it's going to go back to the template. It's going to look for where all of these things need to go in, and it's going to insert all of the things we've just drafted, and it's going to give us this link to download the final document. So let's open that up and see how it's done. And you can see, if we compare it to the template, so this is the template. You can see it's inserted the project code, project name. It's inserted this information that I put in manually. Go down to the executive summary. It's put that in the right place. All these various sections, the success criteria table. It's put that in. It's put in the extra column that I added with the populated values. And so it's done a very good job. You can see as well, it's picked up the formatting, the fonts, the colors of the template where it's inserted this table. It's used the theming of the template of the document. It hasn't just put in a generic word table in there. So overall, it's I would say done a very good job. I will now move on to show you Excel. Just quickly pause if there's any more questions. Now's probably a good time. If not, I will move on to showing it working with Excel.
Andy's got a question about where else it can get information from to populate documents, and I'll answer that when we go into the future development stage, because that we've got a section, a specific future feature that would allow that, and I'll go through that for you then.
Yeah, great. So so that was an example with Word. I'll run through this one quickly because it's going to be basically the same thing. But you can also work with Excel files. So I'll upload a template we have in Excel, and while it's doing that, I will show you what this template looks like. Is a risk assessment form. You can see again, it's got all of these different areas that need to be filled in, with brief descriptions of what needs to be filled in. And you can see here the AI has identified all of these different sections. Now, in this case, because this is talking about a specific risk, it's come up with one person's name, but everything else is left blank. Because this is about a specific risk, it's not about the project as a whole. None of this information is actually in this grid. So you can see it hasn't tried to, it hasn't made anything up, it hasn't hallucinated anything. It's found what the information needs, and then it's kind of left us to get on with it. But what I can do, so let's say I'm going to start filling this out. Let's say our risk is we're worried about flooding during foundation works. And then what I can do, again, I can go back to the AI, even though this information isn't in the grid, I can ask it to still draft for me based on what I have already put in and based on what it knows about the project. So I can say, could you draft the risk description based on the title and project data? And again, based on what I've put in here already, it'll hopefully draft us a reasonable description. So yeah, there we go. It started talking about flooding during foundations. It knows about the project, so it's it's putting in project specific information that it's getting from the. So even though this risk specifically isn't in our playbook, it's using the information it does have along with what I've already written to make intelligent to draft some intelligent stuff. So let's say I'm happy with this. Risk owner, let's say construction lead, and I believe in this document, when I'm setting it up, Jody, you are actually the construction lead on this project. It's not a real project, obviously, but just to kind of show it going back into the project, I can ask it to, let's say I don't know who the construction lead is, so I can say to the AI here, could you find who the construction lead is and add the name in brackets to the risk owner section. And hopefully it will find who the construction lead is and it will insert it there. There we go. Put Jody's name in like I asked it to. So you can see it can, even if it doesn't have the exact information for a specific risk, you can ask it to go and find specific things. You can work with it. You can go back and forth. So I'll just finish drafting this quickly. Could you draft the cause trigger when it's done that, I'll ask it to generate the document. In fact, while it's doing that, let's just fill in some values here. Just leave these blank. So again, it's written these out in the chat for us to kind of read and sign off before it inserts them. Yeah. So I'll ask it to insert both of those, and then I'll ask it to generate the document again. And we can see the final document. So there we go, it's inserted both of those. And again, in reality, I would actually read these and review them. I wouldn't just ask the AI to draft them and insert them. Could you generate the final document? And again, it's going to do exactly the same thing here. It's going to go back to the original template. It's going to insert all of the things we've drafted. And it's going to give us the final document, which we can see here. It's done exactly what it's supposed to do. It's put all of the information in all of the relevant places. Now, there is something to say about these templates. So as we've kind of developed this feature and we've tested it and we've tried it out, as with anything related to AI, there is a skill to working with it, and also the higher quality information you give it, the higher quality you get back. So with these templates, there is a way to write these templates in a way that is easier for the AI to understand, that allows the AI to work better with it to make the feature work better. And so these templates that I'm working with here, these are kind of best practice templates we put together as we were developing this feature. Now, obviously, from our perspective, we kind of set ourselves a challenge of, we don't want to force people to have to write their templates in a really specific way, because that's, no one's going to do that, let's be honest, in reality. So the challenge to us was, can we get this to work with as wide a range of templates as possible that haven't been written in a specific way? With the obvious acknowledgement that there's a skill to working with AI in anything. So we're going to show you now a quick example of it working with a template that we haven't written. So this is not an AI specific template at all. This is just a template that already exists. This is from the Pace Digital framework, which is publicly available in MethodGrid. So we've taken a template from there, and I'm going to upload it to the AI and see what it comes back with. And again, this is not, we haven't edited this template at all. This is just a template that was written for humans, that wasn't written to try and get AI or this feature specifically to work with. So I'll quickly show you it. You can see it's got these placeholders in. Scroll down to find somewhere. So it's got things like interfaces, assumptions, and again, an executive summary again, exclusions, dependencies, all of these different things. So again, these have not been written in any specific format for AI. But hopefully, yeah, you can see here the AI has kind of found all of these things that need to be filled in, all these interfaces, assumptions, the assumptions table, all the ones we were just looking at. It's, even though this template wasn't created specifically for AI or for this feature, it's done a pretty decent job of parsing the template, of understanding it, and of giving us a good starting point to fill it out. Now, these templates are kind of best practice ones. They are available. We have made them available for people using this feature to look at and kind of work from when building out your own templates. Yeah. Now, what I will say, we're kind of talking about, I think we've got links to those. I don't know if we put those in the chat.
First link in there. There's also a help article of how to use AI document drafting, kind of best practice around it. And at the bottom of that article, you'll find you can download the risk assessment Excel one and this Word one as well, which has got example prompts in it for you to use.
Yeah, cheers. But yeah, I mean, what we will say about, we said we've developed these best practice for how to work with the AI. Now, fortunately, the way you write a template to work with the AI is exactly the same way you would write a template to work with humans. You essentially just make it as clear as possible. Like these instructions for the project purpose, just says insert a concise statement describing the fundamental reasons for the project, etc., etc. The project purpose should answer, why is this project being undertaken, rather than what is being delivered, and then some format instructions. There's nothing there that is specifically AI. You don't need to format it. You don't need to word it in specific ways for the AI. You just write it in a way that is very clear to a human. This needs to be inserted here. This is what it needs to contain. This is how it should be formatted. And that helps the AI really understand the template. So yeah, these are both available to kind of work with, or to look at when building your own templates. Okay, I think that is everything for document drafting.
I've got a quick question from
Okay,
Bill.
yep.
Last time, how does it extract information from the project when you say it knows your project? So we're actually talking, Bill, we're talking about the playbook that Mark showed at the beginning in the background.
Yes, so this is the, if we go back to the first one, this is the playbook I was in when I opened up the AI chat. So all of that information is in these elements or in these stage gates for this project. I think this is all content that will have been developed when building out the playbook.
Yeah, so it works the same for the standard AI chat, which is available now in MethodGrid. When you chat with a grid in MethodGrid, we've passed that data. All the information that's contained in that grid has gone up to the AI for it to ground itself on and use, so that when you ask questions about who is assigned to task X, it's got all that information segregated off for it to use for that grid. So it's basically using the same information that it uses for the chat in order to populate placeholders in the documents.
Yeah, I mean, an important point to say here as well, when you're using the AI chat or whenever anyone's using the AI chat, the things that the AI chat has access to and can see are scoped to what the user has access to and can see, and scoped to the specific grid you are looking at. So, the AI can't see, it can't access anything that goes beyond the permissions of the person using it.
Yeah, and it's all currently the AI service is Microsoft Azure, all based in the UK. Rab has a quick question with regard to the specific risk example. As a risk and resilience leader and author of several methods, I have some thoughts. Would embedding a particular R&R method in the grid model be the best way to guide the AI to deliver the best practice risk outputs? I mean, I would say yes, you'd be able to do that in the prompt within any document to do with risk, in the same way as that. If you're going to have risks captured in that Word document or listed in that Word document, if it was in the prompt and that information's in there, it could take it from that. It could also, if you had that information as a guidance element or within an element, it would also take it from that. So there's a number of areas you could put it. But it will take
the other option is
you give it, really.
Yeah, I was going to say where we have these kind of AI instructions for telling, the tone and language to tell the AI how it should talk when it's in the chat. These are also available when it's drafting things. So it'd be possible to put it in here to say, when generating a risk, use this best practice, use this methodology, etc.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we could pop it in the context as well.
Yeah.
Okay. I will jump back. Oh, one. Angie, can you upload additional documents to use as source grounding? So yeah, so a similar question, Angie, to Andy's further up. So at the moment, it doesn't have access to either the source grounding documents or the documents in the grid, but that is one of the future development areas we're going to look at next, in order to give it access to. It only got the information at the moment that's contained in the grid or an element or a gate within the grid. We possibly want to expand it so you can also have access to the source grounding documents as well. So on that note, future development, let me take you there now. So this current iteration, it's got the information that's in the grid. It's got the information that you give it in your templates. It's got additional information you can put in that context setting for the chat as well. And that aids it in quickly creating drafts of documents for you, adding in information that it finds in the grid into placeholders and streamlining that whole process. So you can take creating a large document down to a few minutes from a few hours. We're in beta at the moment, it's a closed beta. If you are interested in having a look and joining, please just contact us through our contact form, and we can make arrangements for you to have early access to it. So future development, there's a few areas we've been looking at to take this further. I'll start with the source grounding, as that is actually both Angie and Andy's question. So it has come up a few times when we've demoed this, that often the project information that is needed to go into the templates, so where we've got project code, for instance, it might not be in the grid, it might be in a document that's associated with that project. So at the moment, it doesn't have access to documents. So one future area is to give it access to documents. And that would be either we have the ability to ground the AI on source documents when it's creating content. We'd bring in those same libraries so it could use it also when it's using chat and drafting documents. And also give you the option to say, I want you to use all the documents that have ever been uploaded to this project. So if someone's uploaded a 100-page project plan as a task file evidence, you could then give it access to that. So that's source grounding. My colleague Tom's going to post a link in here now, and I'm going to put a poll live on Slido. If you follow that link, these 5 future developments, if you could take a minute to, it's coming in now, Tom's putting it in for me. Thanks, Tom. And then if you could take there's 5, if you just reorder them in there, you should see that poll is live now. If you reorder them in there into what would be your preference order. So if you had to have these in an order, what would be your number 1, your number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5? So source grounding. So hopefully, Andy, that answers that. So the answer is, as of now, it doesn't have access to documents. In a future iteration, we're going to give it access to the source grounding document libraries and or the documents that have been uploaded into that grid. Moving along, playbook sync. So at the moment, this all takes place in our AI chat interface. So you have to sort of consciously open the chat, add a document into it. Clearly, that could be streamlined within method grid. For instance, when you have a task that requires evidence, you can now add a template there for people so they know which one to use. Put the button to trigger the AI document drafting on that. Anywhere you've uploaded a template into an element, anywhere basically where we've got a document, have the option to trigger AI straight away from there. So rather than having to sort of manually go through this upload process, you'd simply, if you see a document link that says risk assessment template, you would just click a button next to that and it will start the AI document drafting process straight away. So a bit of a UI simplification process. The next 2, CDE and SharePoint. So at the moment, it's relying on documents that we upload and put into source grounding. They're uploaded and are stored by method grid. Lots of you we know have these all stored in SharePoint or in a CDE. So it's what's the ranking importance of that? Would it be useful to say, actually, I can just go and select a document from SharePoint. The AI then uses that. I can give the AI access to a folder of documents, for instance, in SharePoint, and the AI can use that. And by the same token, the same with CDE as well. And then our final one is, this is a bit related to what we're going to show you next around QA. So the AI QA is what it's going to take, is it's going to take a document that's already been filled in to a set of requirements. We're going to upload it, and the AI is going to look at the requirements it was expecting and compare what it's got and give it an assurance score. So at the moment, that is a sort of separated feature. Another possible idea is to have it do that as you draft the document. So instead of drafting the whole document, putting it in for QA, as you draft the document, it knows what should be, say, in section 1 or 2. And if it thinks you as the user are not putting in enough information in there, it would instantly feedback on that at that point. So it's just a quicker way of Q&A and bringing them, molding them together. Thank you everyone for filling in the poll. I can see it coming in. I'm pretty sure we can all see it as well. So it looks like,
just quick.
Sorry, Michael.
No, I was going to say just quickly on that last point about the live Q&A. I mean, there is sort of an element of it can kind of do that already. If you ask the AI its opinion on what you'd written, it would tell you in that chat. It wouldn't have the same structure and kind of compliance levels and things like that the QA has that we'll show in a minute, but it's definitely possible to ask the AI for kind of feedback in the chat as you go.
Okay, I'm just going to leave that poll up. It looks like everyone's filled it in. So Andy had a quick question. Does it have access to the completed docs or just the templates? And his documents are in SharePoint. So it looks like SharePoint is winning. It's won in a lot of these polls that we've done. So we know SharePoint integrations are important to everyone. So it doesn't have access to a completed document at the moment. That is something you could certainly do in the source grounding. you'll see actually when we go on to the QA that you can give it special instructions. So when it's checking over a document, it doesn't have to just rely on the document. You can give it some instructions, sort of things like, oh, it must have a signature from person X, or it must include ID Y. And you also asked if there's a sandbox we can have a play with. And if you want to get in touch with us, or your account manager, Rachel, we can give you early access to the document drafting, and then you can open it in any grid. So if you wanted to have if you've got access to AI document drafting and you just want to have a play with it, just go into your My Grids folder where you can make private grids, create a grid in there to use it in, and then you can just use it in the AI chat there and play around with it. Because I mean, if you're going to start creating templates specifically to use with the AI, it will be useful to pass them through in a test area there first. And a test area in method grid would be in your My Grids area. You can sort of play around in there to your heart's content. Okay, that is document drafting. And we're now going to have a look at the demo of the AI QA. If you think of any questions about document drafting, we can come back to it in the Q&A at the end. And I will hand over to you, Mark, on the QA demo.
Thank you. Yes, so this is the kind of other end of the document writing process where we've got a completed document. We should say these two features, they're obviously related in the sense that they're using AI for help with documents, but you don't necessarily have to use a document that's been drafted with the document drafting in the QA. You can use any document that has been written manually by a human for the QA. So where the document QA lives is where we have a task that requires some evidence. So in this case, this risk application one, again, I'm going to be using the same risk template that I just showed. I'm going to upload our evidence to say that this task has been done. So I'm uploading a completed risk assessment form. And then I'm going to ask the AI to generate a report, give me some feedback on this completed risk assessment form. This is going to take a minute or so. And while it's doing that, I will talk about what criteria is the AI using when it is giving us this feedback it's about to give us. Now, in this section here, this support and instructions and template, we have uploaded the risk assessment form. Now, it's the same one. You can see the AI is going. It's kind of going through section by section. We have uploaded the risk assessment form, the same one as before. And so the AI has that template and it'll extract from that template what criteria it needs to judge the uploaded document against. So what information should this template have? How should it be formatted? What should it contain? Are there any constraints on the information that should be in there? Things like that. And then it is going through section by section, giving us feedback, checking everything's there. And then when it finishes, it gives us this overall summary and then this compliance score. So in this case, this is quite a good document I've uploaded. So it's given us a score of compliance for this one. And you can see it's given us overall the document is of excellent quality, each section meeting or exceeding the specified requirements. And you can see it kind of goes into all of the different sections that are in there. And it gives us this section by section feedback if we want it. Now, in addition to this uploaded template, we could manually, in this text area, we could add extra criteria if there's something that isn't in the template, or we wanted the AI to emphasize certain things. We could add them in here manually. But we actually don't even need a template. If we don't have the template here and we just wrote all of the quality criteria for the document in here, this is what the AI would use to judge the uploaded document against. So that's the document QA. I'll show you a quick example. I think is in here. Here we go. Here's another example where it wasn't compliant to the document that was uploaded. And we see here it's given this opportunity for improvement. The scores it gives it are compliance, opportunity for improvement, and then minor non-conformance or major non-conformance. So in this case, it's given us opportunity for improvement. And you can see in the overall feedback, it tells you exactly which bits of it need improvement. So it's telling us a few of the sections, such as the workstream leads table, the roles and responsibilities, etc., require further attention to fill in placeholders and expand content to meet the requirements. And then we can go into its section by section feedback, and we can see exactly what the issues were, why, were those sections compliant, and what would we need to do to make them compliant with what the template's expecting, or with any criteria we have given it. So that is the document drafting. I don't know if we have any questions about that one.
I'm just yeah. If anyone's got any questions about the QA, feel free to type them in. I'll just wait in. There's a few typing icons going on. So just to reiterate what Mark said. So within Method Grid, where you can see those tasks there on Mark's screen, upload project execution plan, you can create tasks in Method Grid for the team to do. When you create a task, you can define that task as requiring evidence before it can be ticked off. Evidence is either a linked file or a file uploaded to it in order to have that signed off. So this AI feature, that is an independent feature of AI. Everyone has that. And when you configure that, so when you say, yes, I want this task to require file evidence, in those instructions that you saw on Mark, you can provide text instructions for a human to say, you should fill this in and it should include this, that, and the other. Those same instructions can be used by the AI. And alongside the instructions, you can upload, if there is a template, the template to use on that particular task. So that is actually a feature that's been added fairly recently. So before the documents to do with tasks would be within the element, but now we've given you the ability to attach it to the specific task. So there's less sort of looking around for the correct template to use. So irrespective of whether you have the AI QA feature enabled, you can create tasks that require documents, and you can put instructions and templates for those documents within those tasks. And then the AI is taking those. So once you get access to the AI QA, your users would complete the template, upload it, and it can give it a score as to whether it's met your criteria. So, and you've got a quick question. Does it have to be uploaded as a task file evidence requirements? So not the same way as if, yes, it does. So at the moment, the QA, Angie, it's a good question. It's attached to task file evidence.
Yeah, so this is where you would normally upload. As Jed was just saying, this is just where you would normally upload a file as task evidence, and then it's just an extra. There's an extra feature on top of that to trigger the AI from here.
Yeah. So it's an interesting point. We don't have it in the future updates coming here, but I suppose there could be an argument that you would we could expand the document interface within the chat and say, I'll just QA this document for me now before I upload it. But just to say, users can upload the file evidence. If they get a non-conformance score, they can then upload it again until they get it right, and then you can remove the non-conforming reports just to leave you with the conforming document if you want, or you can choose to keep each one. It's up to you. But each report is stored, but you can delete them as well. You can manage them. Okay, so that's QA uploaded to task, and then the AI checks to see if you're meeting the requirements of the templates that you're uploading, the documents you're uploading. So there's a couple of ideas here, just 2 ideas for this one. I've made another of those polls live on that Slido link. If I quickly pop that link in again in the chat for you, it's the same link. And I've made a new poll there. There's only 2 to rank in this one. So future development of quality assurance. So there's 2 things we're looking at here. The first is document template libraries. So there can often be a lot of documents to manage across a Method Grid account. In all your grids that you've cloned out into delivery, there's a lot of documents going on. We're adding more documents which you can now use as AI templates. So one thought is, as the AI starts to judge and quality assure the templates you're using, these documents, would it be helpful to have a centralized area where you can see all of these and crucially manage all of these and see a sort of aggregated view of how they perform? Are they getting a lot of non-conformance? Are they not being used? What versions are they on? So it would be a document library, a bit like we already have the source grounding library. And in there, you would upload documents that you're reusing throughout Method Grid, including any documents that are used by the AI. So say you had, I don't know, the document for the risk assessment, a document for the project plan, they would be contained in that library. Each time they are used, the AI would know it's been used, and you can start to get reporting on that. And each time they are QA'd, it will know that it's that document that's being QA'd, and we can start to build up information and reporting around specific documents. And then you can see which documents people are struggling to fill in, which are getting low conformance, which are not being used, etc. So that's one idea around the template library. The other step is to bring the human into the loop of audit and assurance. So if you took this away from the AI area, so say you've had someone upload a document, just task evidence, instead of having the AI check it, a human auditor would check it and give it a conformance score. And then this could work alongside the AI. So wherever an AI report is generated, it's clearly marked as AI. Would we want a human in the loop to check that, confirm the findings, or indeed do their own findings and all the reporting and checks that would go alongside that? So there's two possible expansions to AI QA, both of which actually would live irrespective of the AI, but you can see how they would all work together. So Andy's got a quick question. Assurance of quality or submission is assessed by a downstream team from mine. Having them establish some requirements into this talk has saved huge amounts back and forth. Yes, I mean, it's hopefully, yeah, sorry, Andy, it was hopefully that was just the idea. You know, you can centralize these templates, provide these instructions for the AI QA, and then the AI is going to happily QA every document you've got going up as evidence to make sure it meets your requirements. Okay. So thanks for filling in the poll. If you have done, I'll leave it up. I'll leave it going in case anyone wants to rejudge it. The human QA is winning at the moment. And I will open the floor to any further questions we might have on anything to do with document drafting, AI and MetroGrid in general, or anything in AI in general. While you've got Mark here, if you've got any questions about AI, feel free to ask them. And we'll...
Yeah, just while people are typing, just on that last point about the kind of centralizing the criteria in the templates. One of the reasons that we put this in the file evidence area is because if you put a template or if you put these instructions attached to a task in a master playbook, when you clone that playbook, when you deploy it for a specific project, that template and all of those instructions, your criteria, will go into each project deployment. So it kind of gives you a centralized place to manage those within a master playbook.
Yeah. So once you've configured that master grid, it'll be good to use every time it goes out, and you can just keep that master up to date. Okay.
Yeah, I think in terms of the rankings, unsurprisingly, it's the SharePoint, and
it is, yeah.
Yeah.
So we know everyone's workflow involves SharePoint. So that's something we'll look into next. And to say another thing that we're looking at fairly soon on the AI is I think someone made it earlier on in the questions, is the ability to turn it off when a project needs to be scaled back and not have AI use. So you don't want project data to go into AI. We'll give you the ability to turn it off there. So I think someone's just writing a question, so I will leave this open. I'll just move on. So we are in a closed beta, so it's in the MetroGrid app. It's hidden unless you're within one of the beta users. As I said, if you're interested in doing that, I posted the link to our contact page up there. Feel free to just contact us, or just email help@metrogrid.com, and we can start the process of giving you access in your account, and you can start trying it out. And we're looking for any feedback you've got. And like we said earlier, you know, as with all AI, the information you give it is the information you're gonna get out. So the quality that goes in is quality you'll get out. But the advantage of this is once you've created these templates and you've got your prompts and what you want it to do in there, that's a one-time shot. You've done that. Now every time someone uses it, they're going to be working to the same instructions and get the same quality out.
Yeah, I think the other point we can make, which you've kind of touched on it earlier, but we always make this point, but I think it's always important to bring up around kind of data security with the AI. The same data security kind of standards apply to these features as they do to all of our AI features. In terms of none of your data, none of your project data is being used to train any AI models, none of it's being shared with anyone else, none of it's leaking anywhere. It's all, in terms of data residency, it's all being processed and stored in the UK. Everything's encrypted when it's being sent back and forth between the AI. All those sorts of things that apply to every AI feature we have, they all apply to this as well.
Yeah, that's always an important. Thanks, Mark. I'm just going to put the other link in actually to this is the how to use the AI QA. It's a help article on that, which has got some tips and tricks on how to get the best out of AI. So I've put both those links in there, one for doc drafting. If you want to just find those, I'm pretty sure if you Google it, you'll come across it. But our help site's on help.methodgrid.com, and you'll find the whole AI category in there with help articles on how this all works. Okay. If there's no more questions, we'll say thanks for coming. And we'll see you again soon. We've got another webinar coming up in June, which is a live demo of MethodGrid, which I'm sure will include some of these AI features as well. Tom has just put the link in there if you want to sign up for that. We'll see you then. And for now, we'll say goodbye. Thanks for coming, everyone. See you again soon. Thanks, Mark.
Cheers. Thanks very much. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.